Tag Show. Tag Show. That's gonna leave a mark, Taylor.
That's undisputed because I'm undisputed.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? You're listening and watching to a special.
Who's that?
Maybe it's the wine. Maybe it's the wine that just kicked in. Although I just started. Anywho, one glass every other day because calories. Because I got my 6-pack now. So I gotta watch my figure. Anywho, what's up, everybody? You're listening and watching a brand new hot take episode, I guess you want to call it, of the Mixed Tag Show with Jenna and
medium swole. You want me to call you medium swole? Like
you can do that. Cause hold on. Let me see if I can flex a little bit. Hold on one second. Can we see the gun show?
We done seen big swole. We done seen little swole.
Little swole. Now we got
me. Middle.
I'll take it because I'm out here with the gains, son. I'm out here with the gains. But anywho, yeah, speaking, it's so funny that you mentioned Big Swole, and because this is another hot take with AEW, trying to not always do WWE. So
there's other federations out there, other companies.
Yeah, there's other promotions that I'm actually, before we do our next episode, I'm trying to watch Impact because I hear they're doing a lot of cool things with women, like there's multiple women segments, unlike other promotions.
Yeah, like
I'm not saying any names, but it starts with an A and ends with a W. Anywho, but that's not.
Starts with W and ends with the E. I'm joking.
I'm sorry.
I'm trolling.
The greatest wrestler right now is killing.
I'm trolling it. I'm trolling.
The main promotion. Anywho, that's not that conversation for this episode. Over the past weekend, I noticed, and I brought it to your attention, that Chris Jericho, the demo god, as he puts it, Le Champion, what's been his names over the past?
The demo god, Le Champion, and that's it.
Y2J, just the many names go on and on.
But he just, his anniversary for his debut passed this week, too.
It did. Great times. But anywho, we're not here to praise him currently. But over the past weekend,
who he really was.
Unfortunately. But over the past weekend, him and his band, Fozzy, apparently this with pictures circulating on Twitter and social media of them performing in, I forget which Dakota it was. I believe it was South Dakota. I don't know, but it was actually in both Dakotas. So North Dakota and South Dakota, and I think a couple of other states. I'm not sure. Maybe that's not the case. Obviously, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and fans were obviously allowed to attend this said concert, different shows. And although there was different apparently precautions that were placed, such as hand sanitizer as soon as they entered, and they were required to wear masks. Take temperatures. With all that said, they were still they weren't in an outside venue. It was indoors. There wasn't social distancing. That based off the picture that was posted. Now, we don't know what the rest of it looked like, but based off the picture that was posted, everyone was next to each other in close proximity, and they didn't look like people were wearing masks. And obviously that's a concern because, again, we're in the middle of a pandemic, 1. 2, Chris Jericho is an active performer with AEW. So after that means he would have to attend the next taping or recording of AEW, whether it's live or a tape show. He still has to attend that and be amongst his co-workers, which his co-workers have to be amongst each other, their family, friends, and other people they interact with through their day-to-day life. So I thought that was interesting to discuss for Hot Take because again, a lot of people sit here and point the finger at promotions like WWE and call them the bad guy, this and that and the third, for doing this and not taking necessary precautions to provide a safe working environment for the performers. But then you have someone as a legend like Chris Jericho, who went and performed, risking his health and others. And you haven't heard anything in regards to from Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, or anything that was done in place to reprimand Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho, as we saw this past Wednesday, had a match against Orange Cassidy, so he was allowed to perform. So I wanted to know.
Is that live though? Are they still doing tape?
I don't know. I'm assuming it is, just because when I was watching it says live. And a lot of times when you watch the programming, they're gonna tell you it's live or not, right? You don't see that anymore with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT because it's not live. So, I'm gonna assume it was live just based off the fact that it said live, right? So,
Okay.
I wanted your input in regards to what did you think in regards to that? How do you feel?
Personally, when I see stuff like that, no offense to the people that support Trump and all that and believe that, you shouldn't wear a mask and things like that. If you want to be dumb enough to be amongst each other without using protection, that's your problem. Like, do what you want to do. As long as you're not bringing around me and my eyes, I don't really technically have an opinion on that. Like, you believe what you believe, and if everybody around you believe the same shit, that's y'all. But like you said, when we were discussing that, you brought up a valid point. Is like, but then he has to go back to AEW. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, it kind of is putting your coworkers at risk because now, granted, he's not amongst the crowd, but still, it's like you are a performer at one place, and now think about it this way: why haven't anybody really traveled amongst promotions like that? Like, why is Japan shut down? And you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many ways to cross contaminate or cross affect people and get them sick. It was not needed to do a concert. Like, no concerts are happening right now, to our knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the precautions that are being taken to ensure that we get ahead of this virus that's been killing 150,000, 160,000 Americans so far in a matter of how many months. And yeah, you could go ahead and use your rhetoric of, hey, chickenpox and the flu killed this many people. That's cool, but we kind of have an idea of how to kind of contain that. We don't have no idea what this virus is. So we're still learning. It's not the best place to put people in danger, including the people that you work with that's supposed to be trusting you with their health and their body. So for me, I think that was very careless of Chris Jericho. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a money grab. It was just one of those things where he's like, yo, I'm going to do what I want. But it's like, still careless if you're going to bring it back to the people that you work with. And I hope that even though they didn't say anything publicly, I hope that, those that have the power talk to him somewhat like, yo, you got to chill. Like, this is not safe. That's how I think about it.
Yeah, I don't know what to think, if it was a money situation or what. He mentioned that most of the shows have been canceled, but these few were still on. I guess because in North Dakota and South Dakota, they've had less than 1,000. I want to say
Cases.
That's the number, cases. So it's not an at-risk state. But my thing is, if you're coming into that state, that one person can affect, as we see with this virus, can affect a lot of people. So I just think, like you said, it was very careless and selfish. Because I'm assuming, I don't want to be in anybody's pockets, but I'm assuming that you would have been okay if you would have took a stand and been like, yo, we're not doing this. We have to be responsible. We can postpone it till next year or whenever we get a handle on this virus.
Like everybody else.
Like everyone else. Again, I'm not trying to be in anybody's pockets. I don't know. We don't know the actual situations. These are just our thoughts.
Right.
We see you are familiar in regards to COVID. You had it, right? A
Twice.
couple of months ago, twice, right? So it's
With
possible
a
to get it
broken
twice.
freaking neck, so now.
You know what I mean? It's not a. I'm assuming it's definitely not a fun thing to go through. So
Yeah,
I
no.
just is really irresponsible. And again,
Yeah.
this is someone we've had these conversations over the past couple of months in regards to the whole Black Lives Matter movement and this pandemic. And it's just it sucks to see someone that you idolized growing up. Like we were just talking about it, that the anniversary just recently passed of him debuting on Raw, right? That was iconic.
Yep.
When we started this podcast, what was the first skit we did?
That's what I said. That's the first skit we did was the Raw
We did.
Jericho skit.
Right? You know, so this is someone we both grew up idolizing, and he's still, at the end of the day, regardless of politics and views, he's still a legend to me, and he's still doing
Right.
his thing now. So that's not to take away from his talent or what he's done, but it
Right.
just it sucks when you see who a person actually is. And I'm not saying he's a bad person. I just think just very misguided.
Misguided. He needs to be educated more. There's a difference between, to me, there's a difference
Exactly.
between Chris Jericho and there's a difference and Hulk Hogan. Like those are two different spectrums.
Well, yeah, I mean, not to even bring him because he's irrelevant. He doesn't matter.
No, I'm just saying.
I don't
like,
care who we offend.
I'm talking about,
not whatever.
I'm just saying, like, in comparisons of, like, you know, mindset. You know, we think different than Chris Jericho, obviously, but it's more so I feel like he needs to be more educated on what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You know,
I get you.
like,
I get you in that sense. But I feel you.
but
besides,
yeah,
go ahead. Yeah, but besides that, I just think it's selfish. It's inconsiderate. And again, whatever. I get, like, maybe, you know, the venues or whatever said, yo, we're still going to do this because we're not as at risk as other states. But then it's up to you as a person, you know, your morals got to come into play and be like, yo, this is not right. Because then at the end of the day, like I said, and like you just discussed, you got to go perform back in Florida with your coworkers, right?
right.
So now and the thing is, you know, we all talk about testing and we test negative, but studies have shown, and over the past month, the little that we do know about this virus is that it can show from 2 to 14 days. So how do you know that day, yeah, you tested positive, you were fine, but next week you may be asymptomatic, you may have symptoms, like what happens then? All because you decided, you know, oh well, this is not the situation. And then again, when you saw the pictures, it didn't look like people were wearing masks. I don't know what happened outside of that picture, maybe, but there wasn't social distancing. So now what happens what happens when you go to work the following week? It's just not cool.
Have you seen the pictures of the concerts over in UK and how they got them set up now?
No, I haven't.
They have them basically set up in sections where they have like many stages for them, that group of people to sit in, and they're all 6 feet apart and they're outside. I'd have preferred him to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? To see the extra precautions that they're taking, but just to have it inside amongst each other, jumping,
where
sweating,
like where just the viruses,
saying the words, like.
Yeah, the viruses, like, as we've learned, like in regards to like just how it travels and an inside setup, it's just going to be circulating around, whereas outside, you know, there's more of a chance for it to, you know, spread whatever. But yeah, and then another thing that I found interesting was this past Wednesday, I'm gonna assume that the episode was live just because when I was watching it said that. There were fans in the crowd, and me and you went back and forth in the sense of like if they're actually fans or not, or just special people who have special privileges. I saw the one person that tweeted, I don't know her name or her ad, I'm not gonna put her out there, but she basically said that she had connections. So however you want to put it, they're not workers, right? It was I'm gonna call them fans. You know, people who have special privileges, whatever. AEW allowed them in the crowd, and then when you look at the pictures, and I showed them to you, like the screen shots of the show.
Right.
There wasn't social distancing. It was social distancing from the performers, but it wasn't social distancing from
amongst themselves.
One, two, you see in one of the screenshots, there's a fan. I'm gonna call him a fan because that's what it is. That had a mask on, but the mask was just covering the mouth, not the nose. That defeats the purpose of having a mask, right?
Right.
So again, we sit here, and I'm not saying us, but I think the general mass, we sit here and like to point blame and say WWE, this, that, and the third. But there's a lot of things that AEW is doing that in my opinion, I don't think is cool. I'm not trying to shit on the promotion. You know, I preferred it again this week over NXT, and I'm more excited for their regular ass show that's airing on Saturday over Takeover. So it has nothing to do with that. But you know, when do we collectively point fingers and be like, yo, y'all not doing, there's certain things y'all doing that is not cool. When do we call that promotion out? Because it just seems like I think the general mass has gave them a pass, like, oh, well, you know, give them some time to do this. Well, they do rapid testing, this, that, and third. You're doing rapid testing, cool, great. But all these fans were just amongst each other. Yeah, cool, you took their temperature. Taking temperature doesn't really do anything, but cool, you did that. But the fans were like, they were like this together. They were bunched up. You saw a couple of fans that weren't wearing their mask properly. So when do we in general and wrestling journalists and whatever sit there and point and critique AEW and be like, yo, this is not cool?
I think in terms of critiquing AEW, I think they get a lot of that. I've seen it on my timeline specifically. I see them get attacked all the time. Not even just regular fanboys about doing back and forth stuff. I've seen them get critiqued on the women's division, which is properly. It's true, they do need to do better with the women's division.
From who? Because I see Dave
Dave Meltzer don't count. Stop! Don't say that.
And Alvarez and all these different dudes. They swear AEW.
I'm talking about people that's not on their payroll. I'm talking about the people that's not on their payroll. Those people are on their payroll. Like people like that don't just like how we like certain people that we know that are on WWE's payroll. We just are like, all right, they're not discredited. But like in terms of this situation here, you are correct. You see what happened when WWE is allowed to have special privileged people fans come into the stadium. That same week, they had a breakout. We don't know if it was from the performance. I don't know if it was some special people that came out. We don't know where it came from, but I don't believe a coincidence is that the same week that you let special people come in is when a breakout happened. So, and again, like you said, those people wasn't wearing their PPEs properly. So it's like, how do you regulate that? I understand everybody's quick and want to, bring more of a fan interaction into it. I wish they would have explored ideas like the NBA. The NBA got those screens around the NBA court with fans watching from home. It's different, but it adds to it a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's other ways to add fans into your experience without putting people in jeopardy or putting out the wrong message to young kids who are also watching your product. Because a lot of them, the parents will tell them, like, yo, we got to social distance, we got to be home. And then they're watching the show and they see people out at a wrestling event and they go like, mommy, daddy, why can't we go to the wrestling event?
Right.
Like you gotta be mindful about that kind of stuff. You can't just be doing stuff all willy-nilly. I would have preferred them if they even did that because they wanted extra sounds at the stadium. Don't put cameras on these people. Why would you put cameras on these people? Like, that's not needed. Like, it's gonna look the same as if you put the camera on the wrestler on the side of the ring.
Yeah.
So why even go that extra step and put those people at jeopardy in the first place? Like, that's careless. I don't know. Like, with me, when it comes to this disease, I feel like everybody's just being careless. Companies, whoever, WWE, AEW, doesn't matter. You already know how I feel about this. Like, I don't know if it's paranoia, but when it comes to this disease, I don't play. like, even with my job, I'd be like, yo, y'all bugging, and like, I tell them like, yo, this is why I stay with this side. You go on that side. People come in, like, customers try to come in. I'm like, nah, you don't have no mask on. You gotta be out. I'll be the first one like, yo, step out. Like, you can't.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you have the experience in regards to having it and possibly having it twice. And you know what I mean? So I get that. I feel the same way. I didn't do much when it first started. Now I'm venturing out a little bit because, like we've mentioned before, our states have had it more so under control. But even still, that doesn't mean I'm not going to wear a mask. And if I'm I'm in a setting where there's quite a few people and they're not wearing a mask, hell
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna be as, like, matter of fact, like this past week, not to take too much off to the topic, but I'm into my workouts and stuff like that. My off day, I decided to shoot some hoops because that's me being active and burning calories, this and that and third. Some little kid wanted to play with me and I was like, but he put his mask on. After a while, he took it off and I was like, you gotta put your mask on. And then again, like, he did and then took it off. And then I was like, you know what, let me back up. And he wanted to, like actually play, like D up
Right.
and whatever. And I'm like, and I'm backing up. Like, there's a lot of people that just don't, you get what I'm saying? Like, it means
Yeah.
nothing
And
to them. So
even
yeah,
with the sports aspect, like people going biking and all that stuff, I understand it's hard to breathe with the mask on, but until we
it's
find
not
out
that
how to
hard.
do
It's not that hard.
it's
Coming from someone who has asthma, it's not that hard. If I can wear a mask
well,
throughout the
that's what I'm
whole
saying.
thing,
You got to find, but that's what I mean. You got to find a mask that's comfortable for you. There's certain masks that
well,
certain people wear.
I'm not
They
gonna even
probably
make that.
can't breathe
I'm
correctly.
not gonna make that excuse, Blue, because I'm asthmatic. Like, that's a respiratory disease.
But what
Period.
mask do you
Right? Hold
use
on.
when you exercise?
I've worn a blue one, the blue surgical mask. I've worn the white ones that, like, that's more so for like dust and stuff. I wore a cloth one that's much, much more secure, and I don't have an issue in regards to breathing. It might get annoying in regards to when you sweat, but for me to say I can't breathe, it's a lie. I like this is coming from someone who has asthma and from time to time needs to take their pump or whatever. I can wear a mask perfectly fine and exercise, walk 2-3 miles to get my exercise in and play ball and be fine. So I don't want to hear that. And I'm not coming at you. I'm just saying, with people who feel like, oh, I have medical conditions, bullshit. But anyway, going back to in regards to, you saying you wish like they do more so like how the NBA does. I agree. But if it's a situation where that's not the case and you do want to let fans or special people come in, my issue with AEW is you had like so much space. Why was it that all those people
Right.
were bunched together? Like, you could literally implemented, you're gonna be here, you're gonna be 2-3 seats down, and they be spread out. No one had to be next to each other the way they were. And I pray that wasn't like everyone was fine and it is whatever, but you're gonna keep doing this moving forward.
You gotta be more
And
secure about it.
eventually some, I don't want to wish any bad energy or negative outcomes. Eventually someone is going to slip up and test positive because you decide, we got to bring fans. Like, I know I'm in the minority, but wrestling has been fine for me without fans. It adds something, but let's be honest, like, the past, at least with WWE, like the past few years, fans don't really do much anyway at this particular. They're not like what they were, like we were in the 90s and stuff like that, where it was constantly high energy, you know? So, I mean, I get it. Fans add to an element. I miss going to shows too. Don't get me wrong. But if that means, if I got to be safe and healthy and sit and watch it at home,
I'm adjusted to the aspect of not having fans. It's like, all right, like
you
at this
you
point,
come you become accustomed to it.
I'm
Yeah,
accustomed to it, and I
it's your new
focus more
normal.
on what's going on in the ring than what's going on in the ground.
And
Keep it
you
100.
notice facts, and then you notice, like, again, I know this is a W episode, hot take, but again, going with WWE and then AEW too, is you have longer matches and just focusing on wrestling because you may not have the personnel, the staffing to do whatever. And that,
Right.
I think that's great that we can actually see talent that we haven't really gotten to see over the past few years shine.
And actually talk without being interrupted.
Right, but because you got like these smarts in the crowd that wanna, because they might not
What?
understand you exactly. Like, I don't miss those type of chants or CM Punk chants. Like, I don't miss that.
Hey,
You
you
know,
CM Punk got it.
he's the man. That wasn't a
Can't do
dig
nothing
at
to
him.
you.
That wasn't
I
a
know, I
dig
know, I
at
know,
CM
that's
Punk.
so
That's the
cool.
man. But like, who wants to hear in a bomb ass match, that's going off, what or beach balls or hear a CM
Yeah.
Punk chant like you know. So I've accustomed. I'm not saying everyone has to be like us, but we can't do anything about it, because if we
Relax.
could, then we would be in the crowd. So my point is, I feel like AEW, and not just AEW. This is not like I'm gonna point fingers at them. It's every promotion, and we'll discuss it in our next episode, because something happened in New Japan. But this is our new normal until we get it under control and there's a vaccine that's safe to take.
Yeah.
You know, this is our new normal, and if people can't adjust to what like policy is in regards to wearing your mask properly and social distance,
At least respect other people.
Respect other people, or and then you know, these companies have to put their foot down as well. That wasn't cool. So I hope moving forward in the next, I hope in the next following week that they make adjustments if they're going to continue that with that.
Stop, bro. Like they need to stop. Maybe like I read that Walmart and those places is starting to say that they're not trying to require a man. They want to put their employees at risk by customers. If you can tell customers they can't wear shoes, they can't be a service, they don't have shirts or shoes on, you can add masks to the list with no problem. Like I don't see the issue here. Like,
and hire the personnel to handle that, because you got a lot of times with, like you said, with Walmart and all these different stores, like you have employees that's going to try to enforce it, but if they're not security or where they can really, you know, now you're putting them in danger, not only with their health but their safety. So you know, again, not to take away from what the conversation at hand is in regards to AEW, but it's COVID. Yeah, like, you know, I hope there was a talk in regards to Jericho from Tony Khan and all of them, and you know, if that's and if he's gonna continue to tour, then shame on everybody that's involved. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah. But I remember when he was trying to say that. I remember he was trying to say that the cruise was still gonna happen. And I was looking at him like, how, fam, how, how this cruise gonna happen? And I'm pretty sure somebody pulled himself like, you can't do that. Like, you gotta relax.
I don't get the mindset, especially like people that are well. Again, I'm not trying to be anybody's pockets, but I'm sure you are well off that you don't need to do this cruise. Like you're what you're saying is you don't give a fuck about the people that's gonna attend.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. You don't give a fuck about anybody. Yo, I'm gonna do this because we trying to make this money, this and that and the third. Cool, I get it, be about money, but yo, come on. The reason why you're there, not only because of your talent, but because people were behind you in regards to fans. So look out for the fucking fans. That's all I have to say in regards to that.
I'm good on that. I'm going ending on that.
On
that's
that
the hot
note,
take, guys.
That's the hot take. Go ahead, continue, do your thing.
If you want to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, follow us at The Mixed Tag Show, or follow us on our personal at
Miss Jenna Baby, BAYBEE, or
Real Magic Grind, spell how it sound. And we say and continue to give you some hot takes with some hot stuff that's happening. We're working on personal stuff that we're going to put out for you guys together and separately under the Mixed Tag Show brand. We keep y'all locked, keep y'all entertained, and keep y'all locked in. Subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't already.
We know you guys fuck with us, obviously, because you've been showing us mad love for the past couple of episodes for sure. So and Blue is finally getting his shit together, so
okay.
All right, but that's our show. Look out for our next episode.
All right. Peace. Just stop.